Hello everyone, I'm the Omni-Slayer and I freaking love the Persona series. Before I played this amazing franchise, I was one of those people who refused to play any RPG other than Pokemon for some stupid reason. Yeah, I was a pretty stupid kid. The Persona series not only surprised me from how good it is, but also completely changed my outlook on RPGs, to the point that it jumped from my top 3 least favorite video game genres to my top 10 favorite video game genres. It has everything I love in a video game series. Great stories, spectacular and unique gameplay, a perfect balance between dark and tense moments and hilarious light-hearted moments, and as for the topic of this countdown, an awesome cast of characters. These characters are all unique, likable, and so relatable to the point that they remind me a lot of my friends and family. Today I'm counting down my 10 personal favorite Persona characters based on their personality, backstory, battle skills,
and that's kind of it.
Also, it goes without saying, but there will be spoilers, so I suggest you play at least Persona 3 and 4 before watching this video. Now that we got that out of the way, this is my top 10 Persona characters. Time to get this party started. You know, I always wondered what it would be like to have an older sister. Even though I already have a friend that I can consider a big sis to me, another person I would love to have as a big sister is Mitsuru Kirijo. From the moment you arrive at the Yuwa Todai dorm, she introduces herself as the student council president of Gekkokan High, the heir to the Kirijo group, and the leader of Seas, a group formed with the sole purpose of defeating shadows and investigating the Dark Tower. Later on, it's revealed that Mitsuru's reason for doing this is out of personal guilt, since the Kirijo group, particularly her grandfather, was responsible for unleashing the very monsters they hunted down.
Dun, dun, dun.
Skipping several events in the main plot, her father ends up being murdered right in front of her, no less, completely shattering her will to fight due to a deep depression. But after her much getting slapped back to reality, she gets a hold of herself and regains her will to fight, thus transforming her persona into Artemisia. She served as a mother figure of the team, which fits her Empress Arcana, as well as providing backup from a distance up until Fuka joins the team, allowing her to fight alongside her friends with a bunch of powerful ice attacks and deadly skills with the rapier. How deadly, you may ask? Well, with the arena games, her attacks can hit pretty damn hard at blinding speeds if you're not careful, and the finishing move is downright painful looking. She even often punishes those who get on her bad side through execution, which can make even the fiercest badass Akihiko shit his pants from even thinking about it. Kinda makes you wonder what Akihiko could have done to piss her off. Maybe he walked into her room when she got out of the shower? I don't know. Well, the point is, Mitsuru is a strong, intelligent, mature, and responsible woman I'd love to have as an older sister, just as long as I don't become a victim of her executions. There are two types of characters, the ones you love to go in, and the ones you just want to punch in the face from how despicable they are. But then there are those characters that you don't understand why they're so despised in the first place. A perfect example of this is the pink sniper herself, Yukari Takeba. I really don't understand why so many people hate Yukari so much. She was pretty awesome and very likable to me. Let's check the reasons why. She's a total selfish bitch to everyone. While that may be kinda true at times, there is a legit explanation for this. You see, her father, who happens to be a researcher working for the Kirijo group, died in a lab accident. That alone tore her heart, and just to put salt in the wound, her mother ends up neglecting her by dating a lot of shallow men so she wouldn't have to deal with the pain of losing her husband, going so far as to constantly move from place to place in a vain attempt to get away from the pain and grief in her heart. Considering all the shit she went through, she has every right to be bitter, angry, and mistrusting of others. She eventually realizes her own faults and becomes a lot more open and friendlier towards her friends, which allowed the persona to evolve into Rises. She totally sucks in battle like her AI would do what I wanted to do. I really had no problem with her AI. In fact, she was one of the most reliable members of the team, using her healing powers whenever anyone had low health, and also packed some powerful wind attacks and archery skills would make even Akai proud. She actually attempted to do more of humanity for her own selfish purposes. Okay, this is one thing that got almost everyone pissed off at Yukari, but like the first complaint, there is a legit explanation for this. In the answer, which is an epilogue of Persona 3, there is a point in the game where everyone has to make a choice whether they should go back in time and save the protagonist from soon death, or just read the past as it was. Yukari wants the former because she couldn't bear with the deep grief and sadness in her heart, and even though she told herself to move on and look forward to a happy and bright future, in reality, she was suffering all by herself, because she was actually in love with the protagonist. Now think about it. Throughout Persona 3, she suffered a major loss when her father died and her mother was pretty much dead to her the moment she ordered herself to other men to cope with the pain and grief she feels. And just when she found someone she loves more than anything, he ends up dying on her. I can't even imagine the pain she went through after all of this. After she made that decision, I was honestly shocked and felt rather conflicted at being forced to fight her, and the others nearly brought tears to my eyes. Mostly because I couldn't bear to see such great friends fighting each other, and just wanted the Yukari to snap back to her senses and realize what she's doing is wrong. After defeating her, she eventually starts to accept the protagonist's death and apologizes to her friends for her selfishness and stubbornness. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what I like to call phenomenal writing and character development. There are a lot more bullshit reasons as to why so many people hate Yukari, but listing every single one of them would take forever. Though if you want to know more, I put a link in the description that takes you to a post that, quite frankly, explains in clear detail why Yukari doesn't deserve the hate she gets. She's a cheerful, friendly, and caring character who has shown to be one of, if not the most realistic and well-written characters in fiction. Something that a lot of fans don't seem to notice. Wow, this was a pretty long and serious segment. Better lighten the mood a bit.
Ace detective? Are you stupid or something? More like stupe, ace defective.
Robots were always pretty cool and interesting to me, especially in science fiction media. There are so many awesome robots out there that I could make an entire list about my favorites, wink wink. And in the Persona series, there are two robots that come to mind, the sweet mechanical maiden Lapras, and the number 8 on this list, Aigis. You first meet Aigis in Yakushima, where Junpei, Akihiko, and the protagonist— you know what, let's just call him Minato, cause I'm getting kinda sick of referring to him as the Persona 3 protagonist. I'm sick of it! Sick of it! Back on topic, Junpei and Akihiko tried to hit on her as part of Operation Baybond. Trust me, it makes a lot more sense in context, but failed miserably. After getting a glimpse at Minato, she runs away, and when they catch up to her, it's revealed that she's not really a human, but actually an anti-shadow suppression weapon, the last one ever made. At first she doesn't have much of a personality because, you know, she's a robot. Though she does have an odd interest in Minato, as evidenced when she occasionally breaks into his room at night, just so she can be by his side. Yeah, totally not creepy at all. After certain events near the end of the game, she becomes more compassionate and loyal to her friends, and throughout the answer, she develops into a sweet, gentle, and strong woman with a talent for leadership, thus becoming more human in the process. In battle, she specializes in support spells like stat buffs and elite spells, and devastating physical attacks. But what makes her unique is her Orgia mode, which massively increases her offensive stats, though she overeats after a few turns. So make sure to activate Orgia mode at the right time, otherwise she'll become a sitting duck. Honestly, what I love the most about Aigis is that, despite being a walking arsenal of every destructive weapons, she's absolutely adorable. I can't help but smile whenever she shows any sign of genuine happiness. I mean, just look at her! She's so freaking adorable, I just want to hug her and never let her go! Why won't you let me hug her game? Anyways, Aigis is a wonderful and kind-hearted robot that I would gladly have by my side, and I wish I could meet someone just like her in real life. Being single sucks. You may have noticed that we're almost a third into this list and we still have no Persona 4 characters on here, but that's about to change with the Detective Prince himself, Naoto Shirogane. At first I didn't really care much about him, to be honest, but after a while, Naoto just kinda grew on me. He shows up to investigate the mysterious murders happening in Inaba, and sees the investigation team as a bunch of kids playing a game of detectives, something which infuriated Yosuke, since one of the victims happened to be his love interest. Ouch. Later, when the case was thought to be solved with the arrest of that no-good shit-faced Mitsuru, Naoto turned out to be unsatisfied with the results and decided to use himself as bait for the culprit, which resulted in getting kidnapped and thrown into the TV world. In there, Naoto faces his shadow, which is a manifestation of a person's repressed emotions, and suddenly loses composure when it taunts him about how, despite his professional and mature demeanor, he's just a child who wants to be taken seriously and be treated like an adult and... He's a girl?
Knew it.
After that not-so-shocking revelation, because really anyone with good observation skills could tell that she's a girl from a feminine face, and defeating a shadow, she reveals that the reason she became a detective was because her parents were detectives as well and wanted to follow in their footsteps, but felt like no one could take her seriously because she's a girl in what's basically a male-dominant occupation. She eventually realizes that what she really wanted was to be accepted as her true self and awakens to a persona, Sukuna Ikuna, as the last person to join the investigation team. Naoto has a variety of light and darkness spells, which are pretty much insta-kill attacks, as well as physical and almighty attacks that deal massive amounts of damage, especially when she uses the latter after activating Mind Charge, which makes magic spells much more powerful in the next turn, making her one of, if not the most overpowered character in the Persona series. Trust me, Vegeta Leon with Mind Charge can be as destructive as a nuclear bomb. That is insane! What really fascinates me is how freaking smart she is. Despite being the youngest of the main cast, she's very passionate about the investigations, can figure out solutions much quicker than anyone else, and the level of intelligence matches even Mitsuru. No wonder the Inaba Police Department picked her of all people to personally investigate the murder case, truly worthy of the title of Ace Detective. Speaking of which... back to Persona 3, where we switch from the Ace Detective to the Ace Defective, Junpei Iori. He starts out as the goofball of the team, often cracking jokes, acting like a pervert at times, and just being an overall caring and upbeat guy. Though he does this to hide his insecurities, as he wants to get away from his heavy drinking father. Throughout the game, he's shown to be a great friend to Minato, though he's prone to fits of jealousy towards him because of his special power and the fact that he wanted to be the leader. This may sound like he's nothing but an annoying reckless loser, but like all Persona users, he gets better as the game progresses, especially since he eventually apologizes to Minato about his outbursts, and he actually shows a much friendlier side when he falls in love with one of the main antagonists, Chidori Yoshino. At one point in the game, Junpei gets shot in the stomach and nearly dies, but ends up getting saved by Chidori's healing powers, though she dies in his arms as a result right after confessing her love for him. This sends Junpei into a depressed state, and just to make matters worse, this happens.
Oh, what a pity. Such a meaningless death.
Fuck you, bitch!
Eventually, Junpei gets over his depression after taking a look at the drawings of himself in Chidori's sketchbook, deciding to be a better friend to those he cares about. In battle, he has a bunch of fire spells, but his strength relies mostly on physical attacks that deal a lot of damage. Kinda strange since he represents the Magician Arcana, so you would expect him to have more magical abilities than physical attacks. I guess logic doesn't exist in the Dark Hour. Honestly, I love Junpei mostly because of how funny he is. I always seem to like laid-back dudes with a goofy attitude and also have a bit of a perverted side to them, and Junpei is one of the best examples of this character type. Believe me, Operation Baybond and the Hot Spring Scene will leave you in stitches. In short, Junpei is an upbeat and perverted goofball who can still take things seriously when he needs to. He has the best character development out of the Persona 3 main cast, aside from Yukari, Aigis, and a certain other character I'll talk about later, and will always be there to back you up any day. You the man, Junpei. You the man. Junpei might be funny, but the number 5 on this list just makes his antics seem unbearable in comparison. What the fuck? I don't remember having a bear pun counter here. It's not even on the script.
That's because it's my bear pun counter.
JJ, what the hell are you doing on my list?
Well, since this list is about a franchise that I recently just got into, I thought it would be a great idea to help you out with this segment, and since my bear pun counter is up, that means you're gonna talk about Teddie, right?
Yeah, I am. Guess you can stay here and help me as long as you keep the bear puns to a minimum.
Don't worry, JP. I'll be a very good bear.
Anyways, number 5 on this list is the funniest and most popular bear in gaming, Teddie. It's pretty much a rule that every Persona character's list has to have Teddie in it, just like any Mortal Kombat character's list has to have Scorpion and Sub-Zero in it. Its exclusion from the list would be too much to bear. Did I really just say that?
You're the one who wrote the script, not me. Anyway, you first meet up with Teddie when you first enter the TV world, a mysterious barren place that's connected to the murder case in the real world. And pretty much like Mitsuru, acts as a temporary support for battles until you rescue Rise from her own shadow gone berserk.
Speaking of which, Teddie was actually the one who defeated Shadow Rise with a suicidal attack that left his body deflated in a very insane attempt to save his friends. And then everything changed with the Shadow Teddie attack.
Was that supposed to be a funny joke based on that overused Avatar meme? Cause that was unbearable!
Shut up! Moving on, Shadow Teddie shows up and taunts not only Teddie, but the entire investigation team about how their search for the truth is pointless, because, you know, humans can't bear the truth. After defeating it, Teddie reveals his fear that he might not have a true self or any memories to recover.
But after some encouraging words from his friends, Teddie accepts his shadow and awakens to his persona, Kintoki Doji. After that, Teddie decides to spend his time in the real world and reveals that he has grown a bearific human body to fit in with his friends, and also to score with some hotties.
After Rise takes over as the team support, Teddie becomes a reliable teammate in battle with powerful ice attacks and healing spells that makes him a fearsome force to be reckoned with. But what makes Teddie so very lovable is his personality. Oh god, we read a new world with these puns.
Being the comic relief of the game, he does a perfectly good job of making us laugh, more than Yukiko during one of her infamous laughing fits, with his flirtatious approach towards the female cast, or even his very cheesy bear puns. There's not a single moment where he doesn't put a smile on our faces, and that's how good he is.
Aside from being the funniest character in the series, Teddie is also one of the most well-developed characters in the series, which is shown through his inner conflict about his fear of not having a true self and his relationship with the main cast, as well as with sweet little Nanako. Really, what else can we say about this adorable little grizzly? He's funny, he's very kind, he's adorable, and he's always there to support his friends in any way he can.
Well, glad to help you out, JP. Guess I'll be going now, but before that, can I just say one more thing?
If it's another bear pun, I swear to God I will burn you alive.
Fine, guess I'll go. Bears!
Damn you! We've all seen the old tough guy with the soft side character trope being portrayed countless times in all kinds of media. Hell, we've seen it before in the Persona series with Shinjiro, who would have made it into this list if I made this a top 15. But Kanji Tatsumi somehow proves to be one of the best examples of this character type. Kanji may look dangerous and aggressive, but his violent tendencies are often due to misunderstanding, such as when he beat the crap out of an entire bike gang by himself because they always kept his mother awake at night. That's both sweet and badass. Unfortunately, being able to easily defeat an entire biker gang by himself didn't help him a bit when it comes to getting kidnapped, trolling to the TV world, and facing the manifestation of his insecurities about his sexuality and his fear of being rejected by either sex, because of his more sensitive, girly side being mocked by others, especially girls. I know how you feel, dude. Luckily for him, the investigation team rescues him, and after admitting that he doesn't care if he's into either boys or girls, that he's just scared of being rejected, Kanji obtains its persona, Takemikazuchi, and becomes the Moscow of the team, with a bunch of lethal physical attacks and some strong electric spells, but considering his very low SP, he's better off with physical attacks. When I said before that I knew how Kanji felt, that wasn't a joke. Back when I was in the deepest, darkest depths of hell that people like to call middle school, I was pretty much ridiculed for simply being different, and I was also into some girly shit back then, and I still am right now. And I also questioned my sexuality at one point in my life, and came to the conclusion that I'm bisexual. Okay, it's best if I conclude this segment before things get any more awkward. And before I start to rip off that rusty gamer. Overall, Kanji might be kinda dumb at times, and has his pretty impulsive moments, but he's still pretty badass, hilarious, and a great representation of the tough guy with a soft side character trope. Also, there's this line.
Oh, I get it. What you're really asking is, will you please beat the shit out of me, Kanji?
Now that we got into the top 3, we're getting to the really good stuff. Though all of the previous entries on the list were really awesome characters to begin with, so why the hell am I even saying this? The point is, number 3 is Yosuke Hanamura. Where do I even start with this awesome dude? Well, the fact that he's voiced by Yuri goddamn Lowenthal already made him an instant favorite of mine, but everything else just made me love him even more. You first meet him after he crashes into a trash can that pretty much solidifies his reputation in the eyes of many Persona fans to the point that I can't imagine him without a trash can on. Poor Yosuke, even his beloved fans think he's trash. After befriending Yosuke, you eventually learn that his love interest, Saki Konichi, was found mysteriously dead. So he, along with Narukami, decided to jump into the TV world and find out why she was killed in the first place. Upon reaching there, Yosuke finds a most unsettling truth. Saki Konichi, the sweet-hearted woman who seemed nice and friendly before she died, actually hated Yosuke and found him annoying as hell. Guess it's true when they say, the nice girls always end up being the ones who hurt you the most. And to make matters worse, Shadow Yosuke shows up and taunts him about how he was just bored and used Saki's death as an excuse to go into the TV world so that something exciting could happen. Of course, Yosuke denies it, leading his shadow self to go berserk and attack him. But Narukami, having just obtained his persona a few minutes ago, saves him and he eventually admits what it said was true, but it's still painfully hard to face your true self, allowing him to obtain his persona Jiraiya and become the first party member to join him. As for his battle skills, while other characters are skilled in physical attacks, support buffs and nerfs, healing spells, or elemental spells, Yosuke is skilled in pretty much every skill possible. He's pretty much a jack of all trades, having some powerful wind attacks, strong physical attacks, a couple of pretty good stat buffs, and even a few decent healing spells, making him a very versatile fighter, and I love him for it. But what I love even more is his personality. While he's a huge pervert and pretty much the butt monkey of the team, he can take things seriously when he needs to. Has pretty impressive deduction skills, has a strong sense of justice, and he always puts on a good face to make sure his friends are in good spirits. So in short, he's just like me in almost every aspect. And in the end, that's what makes him a very lovable character in my book. I love everything about Yosuke, and there's nothing else I have to say about him, so let's move on. Remember what I said about Akihiko Sanada in my previous list? God, I love this handsome guy. Take me away, senpai. You would not. I like him. Being the captain of the boxing team of Gekkoukan Ai and one of the founding members of SEED, Akihiko serves as the big brother figure of the group and always tries to get stronger to protect those he cares about, mostly out of personal guilt over not being able to save his younger sister Miki from a building fire. He eventually joined their party after recovering from an injury sustained from finding one of the much stronger shadows pretty early into the game, and he's a total freaking badass! Like Yosuke is a jack of all trades since he has powerful electric attacks, several stat buffs, some pretty decent healing spells, and, as expected from a high school boxing champion, uses his own fist to fight shadows. If you don't think that's badass, then you need to get yourself checked out, cause there's definitely something wrong with you. Then there's his personality. Just from looking at him, you would assume that he's the typical bad boy because of his aloof nature, and he can have a legion of fangirls follow him around without any effort. Though when he actually makes an effort to pick up chicks, he fails miserably, as behind that cool-headed and confident exterior, he's actually a really shy, awkward, and all-around adorable guy who doesn't really know how to talk to women, even though he can talk with Mitsuru just fine. He's pretty laid back, but still very hard-working to the point that training, find shadows, and getting stronger is all he cares about. He took Chichiro's death to make him realize that training and finding shadows isn't the most effective way to grow stronger as a person, and true strength comes from facing difficulty head-on, leading his persona to evolve into Caesar. Honestly, I love everything about Akihiko. Where with Yosuke I love because of how much I relate to him, I love Akihiko because of how much I admire him. Being a cool-headed, smart, and hard-working guy was like a big brother to the people he cares about. I even started working out because of him. Too bad laziness sometimes gets in the way. Also, he's pretty handsome with that rugged body and great abs and those sexy scars and that voice just make me feel so. Ow! Okay, I think I got a bit carried away back there. So, here are some honorable mentions while I'll go drink something to cool off. My favorite Persona character of all time is Chie Satonaka. Yep, no build-ups, no holding back, and no overly emotional speech about how much she changed my life for the better, because let's face it, that is just stupid. It makes you look like a pretentious douche. I love Chie to no end. She starts out as your typical cheerful and energetic tomboy and one of the first friends you meet in the game. She's very bright and upbeat, even though she has a short temper, mostly when Yosuke is involved. Later on, when Yukiko gets kidnapped and thrown into the TV world, Chie goes in there to rescue her, only to find her own shadow, who I swear to God has the creepiest smile out of all the shadows. Seriously, that smile just... Anyway, Shadow Chie proceeds to taunt Chie about how she's actually jealous of Yukiko's beauty and talents and gets pleasure in having control over her. And just like everyone else in the game, she initially refuses to accept it and the Shadow goes berserk. Oh come on! I thought I was done with bad puns! After defeating a Shadow, Chie realizes that despite the negative traits, she still considers Yukiko a friend and would protect her no matter what, allowing her to obtain a persona Tomoe. In battle, like Kanji, she prefers powerful physical attacks since her ice attacks are pretty decent. Until you get Teddie, who renders Chie's role as the team's cryokinetic completely useless, but it doesn't really matter because she kicks a lot of ass in battle. Literally. Like how Akihiko uses his fists to fight shadows, Chie, being a huge fan of kung fu movies, uses her beautiful sexy legs to not only beat up shadows, but also kicking them out of the battlefield. Hell, her legs are strong enough to even send tanks flying. That is freaking awesome! To be honest, I love everything about Chie, even her biggest flaw, which is the fact that she's not confident with her feminine side and thus suffers from an inferiority complex towards Yukiko for getting all the boys with her beautiful looks. It is pretty endearing, especially when she learns to accept her own personal strengths when you max out her social link. She's adorable, she's badass, she's funny, she's energetic, and most of all, she's a very well developed character. I know other characters on the list are better than Chie gameplay wise, and I have much more character development than her, but in the end, I just love Chie a lot more. Maybe it's the fact that I have a thing for tomboys and women with strong sexy legs that puts her above everyone else on the list, or it's most likely everything else I just said in this segment. Or maybe it's both, I don't know, you tell me. I'm the Omni-Slayer, and let's hope Persona 5 will deliver on the hype. I just wish it could be released in Europe at the same time as America so I wouldn't have to wait even longer.
Captain Hardcore!